Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm in the shop, I'm just chilling. End of the day. Hope you guys are having a good week. Hope you're grinding forward. Stay on your program, mind, body, and soul. If anybody out there wants mentoring or coaching, if you want to level up, go to my website at skyazrael.com. I always put the link below. We got Biketoberfest. That's our smaller event. We have two large events here in Central Florida, Daytona Beach. And it really kind of extends from Orlando to St. Augustine, down to New Smyrna. Biketoberfest is the smaller one. It's probably the better one. We just got hit by a hurricane and we're still in cleanup mode, but people are cleaning up pretty rapidly. They got trucks everywhere. And I really credit DeSantis. I mean, he's kind of like the puppet master for Florida. He's the Don. And I've been in this state for a while, for 20 years now, and I've been through a lot of these hurricanes. And since he's been governor, things get done quick. The power comes back on quicker, the trucks come quicker. My brother finally got his electricity back on. I want to talk to you guys about having a creative outlet. Now, this is something that I mention in my coaching calls with clients. And I also tell people that I mentor, specifically, I mentor a lot of people who are coming out of prison, who are on drugs or just getting off of drugs, trying to go sober, trying to change their life around. If you have PTSD, God, I could just think of a whole range of issues going on. If you have depression, anxiety over something that's coming, just you're an anxious person, you need a creative outlet. This is therapy. Even just as a way to unwind at the end of the day. It's a lot healthier than doing drugs, than following any kind of vice. Even if you just check out with video games, a lot of people, I know a lot of guys who like to play video games. It's just kind of a way to unwind. And I get it. It's almost like doing drugs because you go into a catatonic state. You just kind of go into your zombie mode where you're not thinking, you're just you and the screen. And I'm not saying to stop that. You can do that, but it's not a healthy way to unwind. You have a lot of information from the day that's worth processing and that can help you move forward, that can help you with your decisions and your navigation and your outlook. And being successful is about those two things, navigation and outlook. So a creative outlet. It could be music. It could be art. It could be fabrication, making things. There's all kinds of stuff. For me, I mean, I own a motorcycle shop and it's turned into a business, right? I'm a businessman. I try to pay my bills off this shit now. It turned me into a hustler. It's not always fun. But when I started, all it was, I was working at a construction company. This was in Los Angeles. I was living in the jungle. A bad neighborhood, that's the name of it. People think I'm racist because I call it the jungle. That's the name of it. Guys get that shit tattooed on them. They call it that. I didn't name it that. I hated living there. And I would go out into my carport because I was living in this shitty little house. But at least it was a house, it wasn't an apartment. And I had a little carport. And I set up a table, a folding table, and a little toolbox I bought from the auto parts store. A little shitty toolbox. Bought a little motorcycle, and every day after work, I had my shitty life, living in a shitty neighborhood. I'd crank up the music, open the window, crank up the music. Nobody cared. Bad neighborhood. I'd blast that shit. Everybody else is listening to rap. I'm down there blasting punk rock and heavy metal. And it became just this creative outlet. And I started my shop one afternoon, really, after my neighbor, this Haitian guy, he ran a taxi service in Haiti on a motorcycle. Put like 6 people on the front, 3 people on the back, 2 people on each side, whatever. Have a whole bunch of people, someone on your shoulders, and ride down these muddy roads like that. So he knew about bikes, and he was a really proficient rider, and he would always look out the window. He worked for the city, and he'd always look out the window, seeing what I'm up to. And he came by and he said, you know, what you do is art. It's artwork. Find yourself some sort of art that you can like dive into and become completely absorbed by. Let it completely take you over. Let it become part of you. I write books. And that also has started off as just a creative outlet, and that's all it really is. I've written 4 books, 3 novels, and a self-help book. I've been figuring out different ways to offer this to the public, publishing and these types of things. But writing has become my savior. Even if I only write for an hour, which goes by like that, and that's another reason why you might need to get a creative outlet, is to literally waste some time in a productive way. How much time do you waste doing non-productive bullshit? You could count it up. I'm not saying to stop it, just at least notice it. Don't be in denial. Be aware of your folly. You don't have to change your behavior. Be a fuck up. But know what you're fucking up at and how much you're wasting your time in your life. You'd be perfectly aware of that shit. A creative outlet will help you with your emotional control. Men in particular are always told to hide their emotion, to hold it back. And I tell you that too. Suck it up. Don't be such a pussy. Stop whining, stop crying. And some of you in the calls, if I tell you that, you don't like to hear that. But when I sense someone's a whiny little weakling, I have to snap that out of it. You know, I'm not your therapist, I'm your coach. Right? Think about it like on the field. That's how I look at coaching, is like football. And emotions can really destroy a man. It can take you way off course. But you have them. What do you do with them? Should you suppress them? That's not healthy. Should you act like a robot and pretend you don't have any? That's also not healthy, and that's living a lie. You have emotions. So what do you do with them? Well, your creative outlet is where they go. Oh, if you play music, that's a great place for overly emotional dudes. That's one of the best places. You can scream. You're an overly emotional guy and you really get angry. You got anger issues. Go join a fucking death metal band. You can sit there and scream your head off. Scream therapy was proven to work. I used to see people, when they came out with that shit, it was like the 80s. It was so funny. It became really popular. And you'd see people in traffic. I was living in LA, and it's a city of traffic. You'd spend most of your life in traffic living in Los Angeles. And you'd see like some woman, some secretary, in her car with the windows all up in her little BMW, and she'd have her little secretary outfit, and she'd just be in there screaming. Or you'd see some businessman, some nerd, and he's emasculated, saying yes, brown nosing to his boss, living in some cubicle, and he's on his drive home in his little Volkswagen, cabriolet, and he'll be in there screaming his head off, and it's like, whoa, you see someone screaming, it's weird. But find yourself a creative outlet. I encourage this for every single person that I know. And talk about it. Talk about it with me. I want to know about your creative outlet. I love to hear about that stuff. What kind of stuff do you guys do to express your creativity, to create? Food for thought.